Hey everybody, Doc Brown here with a quick guitar lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to break down this awesome George Benson lick that combines this bluesy minor pentatonic riff with chord stabs interspersed between these lines. I'm going to break this lick down technically, harmonically, and rhythmically for you. So you can find this lick on the live Jimmy Smith album entitled The Boss, and it's going to be off the title track of that album. The tune The Boss is a 12-bar minor blues in D minor. And this lick occurs in the last chorus of George Benson's solo, so it's a high energy point in the tune. It's going to be over the first 8 bars of the form, so we're going to be looking at the chords D minor 7 and G minor 7. So let's dive in and break this lick down. All right, let's break down this lick both technically and rhythmically. So we're going to be up here at the 10th fret. Like I said, this is a minor blues in D minor, so we're going to use that standard minor pentatonic box shape, starting off D. And luckily for us, this lick uses a lot of the same ideas. It's repetitive, but it changes it up enough that makes it interesting. So for starters, it's going to have the exact same rhythmic figure in each measure. So if we count us off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So if we break down that rhythm, we're coming in on the and of 1 there, followed by a triplet on beat 2, 2 eighth notes on beat 3, and then a final syncopation, an eighth note on the and of beat 4. How this phrase or how this rhythmic idea gets phrased alternates each measure. So sometimes we're going to have a chord stab just on the and of 4. Sometimes we're going to do it on 3 and on the and of 3 and on the and of 4. And that's going to alternate each measure. So we have a sound like this. So as you can see, I have the exact same rhythmic pattern continuing for each measure, but how it's phrased, where we put those chord stabs changes with either and of 4 or and of 3 and 4. So let's go ahead and break down some right hand stuff here, because if you've already listened to this, you know that it happens at a pretty quick pace. So let's talk about how we can play this kind of faster. So there's 2 different picking ideas we can use to get through this little minor pentatonic riff here. We can pick it all, or we can throw in some hammer-ons. So if we're going to pick everything, we can do down, down, up, and then a final down on that chord. So that would be like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up. All those chords are going to be downs, and obviously for the second measure, we do have to leave off that final upstroke of the minor pentatonic little riff. So that's one way to do it. You could pick it all down, down, up, down, down, up. The other option is to replace all the upstrokes with hammer-ons. So you get something like this. Also effective. I couldn't tell from the recording what George Benson is actually doing at this tempo, but maybe you can go back and listen to it and figure it out. Both options are viable, and both are worth knowing, though. So that's a little bit about the picking. Let's break down what's happening harmonically here. So we've already covered the minor pentatonic riff there. Let's talk about some of these chord voicings that are changing on top. So in our first measure, this voicing is just a standard D minor 9 rootless voicing. Really nice voicing. Second measure, though, we get an interesting harmonic device. So we're still thinking D minor 7 as our chord in the form, but what he does is he plays this voicing, which looks like a C sharp fully diminished 7. It's actually another rootless voicing, this time for A7 flat 9. And that becomes the 5 of D minor. So he's just throwing in a little 5-to-1 motion happening over this D minor harmony. And you could do that in both your lines and obviously your chords when you're soloing, when you're comping, to create a little motion, a little tension, and whatever's happening musically there. So that's a common device when you're soloing over minor chords, especially extended minor harmony. So yeah, first measure again. In the third measure there, he stays on that 5 chord. He doesn't go back to that minor 9 voicing. He stays here. And then in the fourth measure, after that, we're going to be heading to our 4 chord, G minor 7. So he actually turns that D minor 7 into a D7 flat 9, flat 13. This is going to essentially lead us to the G minor 7, because D7 becomes the 5 of G minor 7. The same way we used an A7 voicing to kind of lead us into D minor 7 or create a 5-1 sound and resolution there, we're going to do the same thing using D7 now to G minor 7. So our fourth measure, really nice sound there, leads us right into that G minor 7. So here's the first 4 measures all together. Really great. Now we're on our 5th measure, so we're thinking over G minor 7, and that last voicing we played there is just a rootless G minor 9 voicing there. It's like a B flat major 7, but we're just looking at it from a G bass note. So measure 5, and then measure 6, we're going to be going back to our D minor 7 in measure 7, so we're going to do a little tonicization again with that A7 sound. So this is going to be measure 5 and 6 together now. And I decided to go ahead and play measure 7 and 8 because they're pretty easy to catch there. Measure 7 is going to be the exact same as the first measure, hitting that rootless minor 9 voicing on top, and then that final measure is just the full pentatonic riff. So really cool stuff there. Let's put it all together. Maybe an extra note or mistake in there, but it sounded kind of cool, and I'll just let it ride for the lesson. I think you guys are going to get what I'm talking about here. And if not, you can head down to the description below, and there's a PDF available for download there. You can also, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate that too while you're down there. All right, so let's try this lick really quickly at tempo. 3, 4.